Hey everybody! I just finished another book in the Bone Chiller series. This is Scare Bear. Um, let's look at the cover art real quick. Very awesome bear being dragged up the stairs by a guy with some Converse shoes, and this is a Tim Jacobus cover art just with those shoes and the weird perspective of the cover. Um, this is a book that I was really anticipating on reading, and I did like it. I actually really loved it towards the end, but I thought that I wasn't going to like it. and I'll get more into that in just a second. The story itself is about this guy named Timothy, and he just turned 12, and he wants to be a little bit more grown up. Um, he's telling his mom that he wants to be called Tim now. From now on, he wants to be called Tim and not Timmy, because Timmy is, I guess, a baby name, you know. Um, his mom kind of talks him into throwing out some toys to become more of a grown up and stuff. Go through your um, toy room and clean out all your stuff, and throw all the old toys you don't play with anymore. So he goes out and he throws out some like army men and different things like that, and he finds this bear that he's had since he was a kid. He says he's gonna throw this away. He thinks right before he puts the bear in the trash bag that the bear actually says, "Don't throw me away," but he does. That night, there's this big thunderstorm that comes through, and in one of the more shocking scenes that, if I would have read this as a kid, it would have stuck with me for a good while. There's a thunderstorm that comes by, and the trash can gets blown over, and he sees an animal running across the yard from his upstairs bedroom, and he immediately goes outside to investigate, and he sees this the bear, but he thinks, I guess, that the wind just kind of blew him out. So he takes the bear, sticks him inside, and sets him on a shelf or whatever. The next day, they're at this baseball game, and we learn that Tim has this girl that he's interested in named Jane. It's either Jane or Janie. And he has an ex-best friend named Ross. Ross used to be his best friend. They used to go on bike rides together, all this cool stuff. But Ross kind of turned into a jerk, and now he just kind of bullies him and picks on him and all this good stuff. And they're at this baseball game, and Tim strikes out and gets hit in the head with a ball and all this great stuff, and gets made fun of. He goes home, and he starts hearing this voice telling him that he can make Jane like him and stuff, make Jane his girlfriend. He doesn't know where this voice is coming from at first, which I thought was kind of shocking. I was like, oh, so this kid is actually thinking that he hears straight up voices, but no, it's coming from the bear. The bear is named Baby Curly. I don't think I mentioned that either. But he talks to Baby Curly, and the bear says that he can make Jane his girlfriend. And he's like, how can you do that? And he said, and he gives these little like hints on how to do some of the things that he's hinting at. And one of them is reward comes with effort. And I think this is like a thing that everybody can like live by, because there's opportunities that slip out of everybody's hands if they just don't make the effort. And I thought this was actually pretty deep for like a Bone Chillers book. So anyway, the next day, him and his dad, they go to a bookstore or a library, and they're returning some books and getting some new books. And this scene is really great. I had no idea that they were actually going to include like a fourth wall break, but he goes to this bookstore or the library, and he literally gets a Bone Chillers book. Like, he says that he gets the newest Bone Chillers book, which I thought was great. He also got some, like, they even mentioned like Sweet Valley High and another series. And it turns out that this guy that wrote this book was in fact ghostwritten, wrote some books for all of those that he's mentioned. And I thought that was really great. That was really funny, all the good stuff, So yeah, the bear says that he can get this girl to like him and all that. And so they're at this the library, and he runs into the girl, Janie. She's standing there with her brother, and her brother has, well, you don't see the brother at first actually, but he sees the girl, by herself, and he actually does end up talking to her. He goes and makes the move and talks to her, and this is where the little brother comes in with a little toy gun. And she basically invites Tim to a dance that's coming up. And after this is where this book kind of loses me, because Tim, is like, yeah, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't, and he doesn't really do anything, And Ross comes and picks her up, and he like does like a little threatening gesture at Tim and all this good stuff. So they leave, and Tim gets ready to leave, and he realizes that he can't dance. Now, this is the part where this book just, I thought that I was going to give this book like a 1 star, because I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid. Okay, so he says that he can't dance, and he comes in, and the bear automatically, I guess, can like read his mind, and he already knows that he can't dance and all this good stuff. So the bear's like, I know that you can't dance, but I'll teach you, And he literally says, like, on a chapter cliffhanger, he's like, go get him, or something like. It's like a Rocky thing, It's like, what? So the bear teaches him how to dance. Now, keep in mind, this bear cannot move. He cannot stand from so far. Like, this book, we don't know, that the bear can move or get up or do anything. But the bear teaches him how to dance. Okay. So the bear can actually, like, his eyes glow and stuff like that, like when he wants to, like, kind of control you and different things like that. So they go to this dance, and this is like one of the worst scenes in the book, in my opinion. I talked to Spongy. Spongy said that it was funny to him. I hated it. It was literally like just hard to read. I literally wanted to put the book away, because I was just like, this is so stupid. He goes to the dance, and he starts dancing. And some of the phrases that are used for his dances are literally so stupid. It was like, I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head. I wrote them down, like, when I done the review for my Instagram, but it was like, what is it called? Like, it's like he done the boogie or something. And another one was, strut his stuff, which I was just like, oh my god. It's hard to watch. It was basically, Scott's Tots from The Office, but Bone Chillers edition. It was hard to read. That part, I was like, this book is not going to get good. This is going to suck. So, after this, though, the book surprised me a lot. Like, it went totally right hand, left field, or whatever you want to call it. And the bear tells Tim he needs to get rid of Ross. Needs to hurt him, get him out of the picture. And Tim is a good kid. He doesn't want to do this. He tells him to cut the lines on his bike so he'll hurt himself. And Tim at first is kind of hypnotized to do it, like with the bear's eyes glowing and all that. But he puts the bike handle back, like the bike brakes back, so he doesn't get hurt. Okay, so after this, the next day they have this race, and Ross ends up running into a car and breaking his leg, and is really graphic. Like, they say it like snaps and all this stuff. And Jane, of course, the car that he hits is Jane, and Jane is very sad and upset with them racing and all this stuff. And Tim gets home, and he's very upset about this bear. And it turns out that the bear is a little jealous, because he cares more about, like, Jane and not the bear and all that. The bear loves him and all this stuff. And after this, the bear tells him that he is basically going to kill Jane. And, like, it literally says that. And I'm like, what? No, that's kind of crazy for this kind of book. And we learn what this bear can do in this chapter, because he does some of the stuff to Tim. The bear literally, like, looks over, and this guy has, like, little Star Wars toys and different things like that. And he like, literally melts them with his mind. He looks at Tim, and he makes his, like, bones hurt, and he makes, like, little welts pop up all over his face and all that stuff. And then the bear disappears into a puff of smoke. Right? And he pops up. They go to Jane's house, and this is where, like, the climax and all that happens. So I'm not really going to say much about that. But it was insane. Like, the last couple of chapters in this book were just great. I was like, okay. I was like, you want to talk about boogieing and, what was the other word? Strutting your stuff? If you write like that towards the end, sure, you can get by with it, I guess. I didn't think I'd like this book that much towards the end, but I did. When it came to that, it got really good. I straight up enjoyed the climax of this book. The way that this book ends is really, really cute, very sweet. No twist or anything like that. It's just really good. And the way to defeat the monster or the villain is very good too. I thought it was kind of clever. It was not really like explained how that worked, but like you kind of put context clues together, and it's just like, oh well, okay, makes sense. The only complaints I had about this book would be the dancing cringeness, and again, if you're that kind of person that likes to laugh at that kind of stuff, you'd probably like it. But I didn't, and we also don't know how this bear gets brought to life. Like, there's no evil sorcerer or anything like that. Like in a Slappy book, we don't learn anything about like how he got brought to life. He just is alive, and I guess apparently he was alive this whole time, like even as a kid, because he's had this bear since he was a baby. So yeah, Scare Bear is definitely one of the better Bone Chillers books. It's within the top 3 or 4 for me. I will rank these books once I finish them all, God willing. But yeah, this one was good. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it quite a bit. Even up until the dancing stuff, it was ridiculous, but I still had fun past that. I think if the last couple of chapters were like this whole book, this would have been easily my favorite book in the series. It's not quite there, but it's definitely one of the better ones, and definitely one that surprised me, especially towards the end. I didn't think I'd like this book, but again, I really did. I do recommend this one. It is rare. It's very hard to find. But yeah, I do recommend it. I actually got a good deal on this. I found this on Mercari last year before that maybe. And I think I paid like $10 for it. That's pretty cheap for this. I haven't seen it on eBay or anything like that. Like, I haven't really looked. Once I find books, I don't really look anymore for those. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars from me, guys. Please let me know in the comments below. What did you think about this book? Was this one of your favorites? What are some favorite Bone Chillers books that you guys have? I really want to know. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys, and bye-bye.